Here's a funny short story about a wife who's throwing a massive temper tantrum slash meltdown because the open marriage that she proposed is not working out how she expected. Her husband found a completely different way to handle the arrangement instead of divorcing her, and obviously everything's come crashing down. And as I've been going to go over here, guys, again, making the point, these things don't work. If your girlfriend or wife proposes an open relationship, open marriage, just end it. It is not going to work, and you're wasting your time, and inevitably it's going to break apart. But it's always funny to listen to these idiots who propose this, complain when things don't go their way. Titled, My husband has been sleeping with SCX workers and spending thousands of dollars. And a shout out to Bob for sending this story. Now listen to this. She says, I'm 32 years old and my husband is 30. And we were in a poly relationship for the last year. She means open marriage. It was proposed by me, and we got into it after gearing up ourselves. Shocker, proposed by her. Well, I was able to find 2 partners and still going strong with them while my husband didn't have anybody yet. Imagine that. That quickly she found 2 guys. Gee, real hard if she's remotely attractive, but she probably had them all ready to go anyway. Well, I tried helping him connect with people and set up an online dating app profile, but it did not work. He told me he'll handle it and didn't tell anything after that. Well, fast forward to this Monday, I found out that he didn't contribute to our joint investment account since then. I didn't check it because he is a diligent saver and never skipped once. I checked some of the bills we got in the last few months, and it was full of hotel and travel charges. I confronted him once he came back, and he confessed that he had been sleeping with SCX workers constantly. I asked about the details and why. Why? We can ask that on a lot of things, honey. He told me he slept with, wait for it, over 50 of them during business trips. Hey, she said open up the marriage. She's hooking up with dudes, he's hooking up with chicks. Now he's paying for pros. You pay the pros to leave. That's really what it's about. He fulfilled his fantasies, had SCX with multiple of them at the same time, and this is the only way he can hold on to himself. I freaked out saying it's a huge risk in terms of STDs and a breach of trust. Oh, she's freaking out? Look, if he's hiring pros, the odds are that they have the STD, STI, whatever you want to call it, checks quite often, compared to just average Joes you meet locally or average Janes you meet locally who probably have more things in them than that monkey and outbreak. I mean, for God's sakes here. And he's paying them to leave. No drama, no bullshit, nothing messing up with the marriage. He replied, having no sex workers wasn't listed in our boundaries when we started out. He used protection and made sure he hired expensive and high-end sex workers. He also added they are probably better than the hot F-boys I'm sleeping with, and they at least have regular STD checks. So that's what I'm thinking here. I also asked about the finances and how much money he spent on them, and he didn't contribute to the investment account. There you go. She's pissed about the money. And by the way, this guy makes a darn good living, particularly given that he's only 30 years old. Poor baby. Things aren't working out the way she wanted. He told me he earns more than enough to have them multiple times a week and has nothing to do with me as it's his money. Well. No. In her mind, her money is her money and his money is their money. Even after this discussion, he told me he has a reservation and left the house. In other words, okay, I got to see Jessica in 45 minutes to bang her, but I'll be back after dinner and we can go out to Outback for dinner. My mind is busy processing what happened and questioning everything for the last 2 days. He communicated nothing to me, and I thought he was doing fine. Apparently, he has a lot of resentment. It's shocking to me because he used to be a great communicator in the past. What do we even do here? Man, this chick is so self-absorbed. Is it all possible that he, guess what, didn't like the whole idea about the open marriage thing, but for whatever reason, didn't divorce her on the spot, but she's been so preoccupied getting dong from Chad and Tyrone that she's not at all paying attention to him at all. And it goes to a whole new level, her not giving a crap about him, that she said she was helping him with dating profiles. Why the hell did they get married then? That's a rhetorical question because I know why. They got married and then had this open thing that she proposed because he makes darn good money. That's why. She wanted the best of both worlds. Now an update. She says here, I listened to one of the comments and tried to have a discussion bringing up counseling with my husband this evening. Counseling, I can imagine that conversation. He seemed dismissive, and when I brought up his spendings, he told me that even though we have a prenup, I can pay you $100,000 to shut up and leave my life if it'll be enough to please, so please shut up. Yeah, that'll be the best $100,000 he ever spent. This was the first insult he made to me in our whole marriage. He said it in a calm and dismissive way, which made it even more shocking. Before I could say anything, he said he'll file for divorce, and okay, we'll be paying my lawyer too. Man, he's like, here, $100,000. I'll even pay for your lawyer too. I just want out. And, and when I read this here, I was watching Die Hard the other day, and the way he was so dismissive, I'm picturing like Hans Gruber saying this in that Hans Gruber voice to her. But I left the house to stay at a hotel. What he said sealed the whole thing. He's a completely different person compared to last year. Oh, he's the bad guy here, really? He used to be outgoing, joyous, but got calmer over time. At least that's what I believed. It was a calmness coming from his resentment, apparently. I'll take my half from the joint investment account and consult an attorney tomorrow. Thank you for the advice you shared in the comments. I wish there was a way of coming back. Please. They're guaranteed. There is so much being left out here. We're getting her perspective. Now, a writer's always going to write their perspective, but this, I can tell, there's a lot being left. I'm sure you guys are thinking the same thing here, making him out to be the bad guy here. Here are the facts. They're married. She proposes the open marriage shortly after they got married. Basically saying, hey, you're not good enough for me, honey. The guy I promised to love till death do us part and be the only one. I want to go fucking suck other dudes. That might mess up a normally joyous, outgoing, happy guy a little bit. Do you think? And so how'd he deal with it? Not the best, a funny way. Cost him some money, but he got all sorts of fun in the hay, rolling in the hay. He should have ended the rat on the spot, but he didn't. Well, now he's done. Because he makes a lot of money. He's going to get rid of her. And, but at the end of the day, it's a big freaking mess. These things do not work out. Okay? And no, I don't feel bad for her. Nobody else should. But, again, he's the big villain in this story. Isn't that the funny part? And he wasn't following her rules. It's always about her rules. So, guys, don't do the open marriage thing. It's not going to end well. Now some comments, because the whole comment section is giving her shit. One guy says here, laughing my ass off. You have a husband who earns $400,000 a year and you open up your marriage with 2 F-boys. You literally told him with your actions that he's not good enough for you. Now when he is having fun with his own money, you have a problem with it. So when you're out getting plowed by as many dudes that would line up for you, your husband just gets behind and decides it will be easier just to pay for it since my wife's not an option anymore. Now you're pissed off that he's taking care of himself by stealing from your ATM. Maybe you won't ruin your next relationship by asking to slag other people. I hope you shut up. I hope your shut up money takes care of you until you catch your next fish and bleed him dry. Well, that's exactly what's going to happen. And I have a hard time believing it was just 2 dudes. Another one. A guy says, I think it's bonkers that you're a year into opening up your marriage and his resentment and true feelings were a complete mystery to you. Just strikes me as an out-of-touch relationship with no real connection or communication. The relationship ended a year ago and you didn't even notice. It takes 2 rich idiots to accomplish that. I think she makes money too. Like, decent money. And last one, this guy says, assuming this story isn't fake, I'm seeing lots of fuck around and find out here. When you unilaterally open up a marriage, you run the risk of your partner not being on board. If your husband is making $400 plus a year, I'm assuming his time is too valuable to justify spending hours and hours on apps trying to find a prospect. If you folks are making over $500,000 annually, I don't blame your husband at all for resorting to sex workers. If I was loaded and open, I'd do the same thing. You folks didn't make clear rules concerning any of this. In fact, you buried your head in the sand for a whole year while your husband was off doing his own thing. It seems like you found a way to have you-know-what with other people that you don't like, so you're using that as a pretext to blow up your whole marriage. I bet there's a bunch we're not hearing here, and it probably doesn't make you look too good, OP. There you go. So, the whole comment section is people giving her hearts, and she deserves it. And there's way more going on here. But the whole time she didn't even notice he probably wasn't unhappy, you know. But 50 chicks he banged in the process of a year, I can't imagine what that cost. I mean, shit. If let's just say $400 a pop for more high end, maybe 500 bucks a pop for a high end, 25 grand. Am I doing that right? 25 grand. But if he's making 400, now he's making 400 a year. It all depends where he lives. If he's living in a low cost of living area, maybe he works remotely or I don't know what, 400 grand a year, that's going to go further than he was living in New York City or San Francisco or Seattle or something like that. But regardless, 400 grand a year, he's still doing quite well. So 25 grand a year in hookers, and that's on the higher end. Hey, but it's over. And I love how he was just so dismissive and Hans Gruber about it. But I hope this guy learns next time, don't get married. And the second a girl brings it up, bye-bye. It's over with.